President Trump says he is not going back to the drawing board after yesterday's major health care loss. For now, there's not going to be a new bill. His plan instead, to let Obamacare fail.
I think we have to let Obamacare go its way for a little while, and we'll see how things go. I'd love to see it do well, but it can't. I mean, it can't. It's not a question of, gee, I hope it does well. I would love it to do well. I want great health care for the people of this nation, but it can't do well. It's imploding, and soon will explode, and it's not going to be pretty. So the Democrats don't want to see that, so they're going to reach out when they're ready, and whenever they're ready, we're ready.
Let's discuss with me now Keith Boykin, CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist, and Harlan Hill, a political consultant who supported President Trump in the election. Harlan, I'll go to you first. We just heard from President Trump. If you are somebody who is suffering under Obamacare, how would you react to what you just heard? Let Obamacare fail. Let it explode.
Well, I think it's a recognition of the political reality, which is that he didn't have the support to pass a piece of legislation that was very flawed. Look, I support Donald Trump. I still do. And I look at this as one failure among many successes that he's had just 65 days into his presidency.
What successes do you
Well,
see?
for instance, 235,000 jobs were created in the month of February. He's been able to repatriate jobs from major Fortune 500 companies, including Samsung, LG, Ford, Carrier, Boeing, and many others. You know, he's had successes that are real and he deserves credit for. And this is one high-profile shortcoming that we can correct for in the long term. But the only way we can do that is if he repeals and replaces Paul Ryan, because this guy's totally incompetent. He really is. He's totally incompetent, and he doesn't have the president's interests in heart.
There are multiple things you just said that I have imagined that, Keith, you might want to react to. Let's start with the part that you when you started laughing, when he talked about some of the accomplishments. You don't see it that way.
He mentioned 235,000 jobs created in February. We created the same number of jobs last February. Actually, we created more jobs the previous February when President Obama was in office. And President Trump said those numbers were fake and phony then. And suddenly now that he's president, these numbers are real and legit. This is a question of the man's character and honesty. He had a travel ban that he tried to impose from the beginning in January. It was shot down by the courts. He had another travel ban. It was shot down by the courts. He had appointments that were repeatedly shot down by his own Congress. He can't even get through a bill with a Republican Senate and a Republican House to pass health care reform, something they've been talking about for 7 years. And Harlan thinks that there are accomplishments. That's why he has a 37% approval rating. And the bill he tried to pass has a 17% approval rating.
37% approval rating in one poll, but there are many polls, including the Rasmussen poll, that shows that he has a 50% approval rating. So we can debate over the polls and which one's accurate or not. But I will say this. I wouldn't put too much stock in any of the mainstream media polls that repeatedly got the election wrong. And so if you're going to base your assessment on President Trump based on some polls that didn't even predict he would be the president of the United States, then your logic is flawed.
Harlan,
let's base it on something else then.
Let's go back to his own words. Let's base it on his own words in terms of what he promised the American people he would do. Let's listen to him on the campaign trail.
On my first day, I am going to ask Congress to send me a bill to immediately repeal and replace disastrous Obamacare. Somebody said the other day, what's the first thing you're going to do? Well, we're going to work immediately on repealing Obamacare. From day one, I've been talking about we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, from day one.
So did he make a promise he simply could not keep?
Well, he said that he would go to Congress and he would ask them to send him a bill to repeal and replace Obamacare. He did exactly that. Paul Ryan didn't send him a bill that his caucus could support. This is a legislative failure that may be among the greatest in recent history.
Rejiggered the bill.
So easy. He said he would do it immediately. He said he would do it on day one. He lied his butt off.
No,
and you sit here and defend
He
us?
didn't lie.
Oh
Paul Ryan has been the speaker. Paul Ryan has been the Speaker of the House for how long?
Finish your point.
And he should have had a repeal and replacement to Obamacare sitting on the shelf along with tax reform and all these other things, pulled it off and put it before the president to sign. And he couldn't do it. Donald Trump doesn't have any experience with legislation.
Donald Trump has no experience. That's the first
please,
true
please,
thing you
please,
said.
please.
The reality is, this is a guy who oversold from the beginning. He said that he was going to lock up Hillary Clinton. He didn't do that. He said he was going to build a wall. He hasn't, and Mexico was going to pay for it. He hasn't done that. He said he was going to somehow repeal and replace Obamacare from day one, and it was going to be so easy, and he was going to be done immediately. He hasn't done that. This is a guy who is caught in the problem that he cannot legislate because he doesn't know how to lead. He has no experience. People like Harlan continue to enable and defend him. And it's time that people start to stand up and realize that this is not acceptable behavior for a president of the United States.
We have some breaking news we got to get to. I'll let